American 65, change tower runway 4 left short and line up and wait.
American 65, 4 left short, line up and wait.
Hello everybody, welcome to Jacksonville, Florida. Welcome aboard our A-7 Corsair 2. Turn up the engine a little bit. Interesting looking aircraft in most people's thoughts, and most people look at this and say, well, that's an old aircraft. Aircraft wasn't retired that long ago. In fact, she was retired. Dadgummit, I wrote it down somewhere, and I gotta find where I retired. I don't remember. Not that long ago. Whatever. This is it's known as a Vought Corsair, but it's actually a Ling Temco Vought A-7 Corsair 2. It's a carrier-capable subsonic light attack aircraft. It was designed to replace the Douglas A-4 Skyhawk, and it was based on the supersonic Vought F-8 Crusader, which was the fighter aircraft. Let's add some flap. I like how she turns hard that way, but not that. Okay, that's me gibboning up this thing. All right, there's some flappage. She looks good. Let's run up our Allison TF41-A-2 non-afterburning turbofan, 15,000 pounds of thrust out of our single little engine. Let's turn this way so that I can actually make sure we're going down the center line of the runway, or something close to the center line of the runway. It's one of the first combat aircraft to feature a heads-up display and an inertial navigation system and a turbofan engine. All kinds of things there going on. Yeah, she's not going to take off for a bit. Initially entered service in the United States Navy during the Vietnam War, it was later adopted by the Air Force. There we go. Look at how those gears fold, by the way. Something else. Later adopted by the Air Force, including the Air National Guard, to replace the Douglas A-1 Skyraider, the North American F-100 Super Sabre, and the Republic F-105 Thunder Chief, or THUD. Look at that aircraft. Slow down the engine a little bit. 1962, the Navy began preliminary work on VAX, heavier than air attack experimental, a replacement for that Skyhawk. They wanted greater range and payload. Particular emphasis was placed on accurate delivery of weapons to reduce the cost per target, because obviously the fewer bombs you need to blow something up, the cheaper it is. To minimize costs, all proposals had to be based on existing designs. This one was based on the F-8 Crusader, as I said earlier, and it won. Compared to the F-8, the A-7 has a shorter, broader fuselage. The wing had a longer span, and a unique variable incidence feature of the F-8 was emitted. To achieve the range, it's powered by the same innovative combat turbofan produced for the F-111 and early F-14 Tomcats without the afterburner. This aircraft has a plethora of cutting-edge avionics compared to the contemporary aircraft of the time. Remember, we're Vietnam era here. This included data link capabilities that provided for full hands-off carrier landing capability when used in conjunction with its approach power compensator, or auto throttle. Because, you know, we're military, we can't just say auto throttle, we have to come up with, it's the APC. Whatever. Other notable and highly advanced equipment was a projected map display located just below the radar scope, which isn't here, but that's a different thing altogether. I wouldn't expect it to be. It was slave to the inertial navigation system, provided high-resolution map images over TPC JNC charts. And it could also be slave to the all-access autopilot. Could fly this aircraft hands-off for up to 9 waypoints, which is phenomenal for a Vietnam-era aircraft. Now, pilots loved this plane, with the exception of a couple little problems. One, really poor stability on crosswind landings, and really miserable performance when trying to stop on a wet runway, because it has an inoperative, if you had an inoperative anti-skid braking system, which is something that could happen if you're in a combat aircraft, you know? Now, the excellent They noted excellent forward visibility, but noted a lack of engine thrust, which is why we had trouble taking off back there. That was addressed in the A-7B and more thoroughly in the A-7D and E, but not quite as much as you would hope. Now, this aircraft was tagged with the nickname Slough. Short, little, ugly. Use your imagination to fill in the F. In Vietnam, the hot, humid air robbed even the upgraded Ds and Es of power. Takeoff rolls were extremely lengthy. Whee! Look at that. And the fully armed aircraft would struggle to reach 500 miles an hour. That's 800 kilometers an hour. Now, for A-7A aircraft, in a high-density altitude and maximum takeoff weight, runway takeoffs necessitated what's called a low transition, where the aircraft literally flew in ground effect a few feet off the runway during gear retraction and for as much as 10 miles, that's 16 kilometers, of departure at treetop altitude before reaching a safe flap retraction speed. Wow. Now, there are videos of this. Just unbelievable. The way they fly so low to catch that ground effect off of the ground. It's amazing. Cat launches during maximum takeoff during these performance driving conditions were not any better. In fact, once you left the cat, you'd slow down by 20 knots. That's how bad it was. So during Vietnam, they often would fly as much as 4,000 pounds below the MTO, maximum takeoff. The Air Force A-7Ds flew a total of 12,928 combat sorties during Vietnam with only 6 losses, the lowest of any U.S. fighter in theater. The aircraft was second only to the giant Boeing B-52 Stratofortress in the amount of ordnance dropped in Hanoi and dropped more bombs per sortie with greater accuracy than any other U.S. attack aircraft. That is a pretty impressive record right there. I want to show you the brake for this aircraft, by the way. You cannot land with your brakes on because it's a belly brake. What's more, that belly brake is longer than your gears. Yep. No brakes while you're on your landing. See if I can get the gears to come out while we're flying here. You can see just how bad it is. See? Yep, not a good idea. Crew of 1. Maximum speed is 600 knots. That is 690 miles per hour at sea level. She could fly 1,070 nautical miles. That is 1,231 miles or 1,981 kilometers with the maximum internal fuel. She had one Vulcan, M61A1 Vulcan 20mm in a rotary cannon with 1,030 rounds. She has 6 underwing and 2 fuselage pylon stations for mounting all kinds of goodies, up to 15,000 pounds of goodies, in fact. Now, the 2 fuselage pylon stations only can mount the AIM-9 Sidewinders. You can't mount anything else on those fuselage positions. But everywhere else, you're pretty legal to mount whatever you please, really. See if we can make this thing land. Give it a little bit of whatever. What is it? Fuel? No. Yes. Throttle. That's the word I'm looking for. Throttle. All right, let's see if we can get this plane to land. It feels like we're coming really hot here. Brakes. All the stopping. We're just going to drag those wheels, I guess. We might stop by the end of the runway. Wow. Stop, 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 plane. I have to do the anti-skid. Okay, now we will make the stop. Yay! All right, I can turn off the engine. And open the cockpit, maybe. Oh, look at that, it opens. Sweet. Sweetness. Oh, look, it even pops out the little ladder. That's pretty cool. Parking brake is on. Let's stow our flappage. Cool. As she winds down. That's very nice. All right, shift 1. All right, we get this view, which is a perfectly logical view. What is this? Landing lights. They don't turn off. Taxi lights turn on, but the landing lights don't turn off. That's interesting. Huh. 2 is GPS. 3. Fuel. Okay. Oh, here we can turn off. Nope, you can't turn those off. But I can turn off the rotating beacon. Off, off. Oh, so if I turn off the battery, it turns off the landing lights. Sort of makes sense. 4. Nope, that's it. So there we go. That's a nice looking air. Oh, look, when it finally stops spinning down, you get the plug in the front. Do we get a plug in the rear? Ah, we got a plug in the rear. So the aircraft is all ready to just chill out. Chillax. That's not bad. So there we go. This is the Vought. Well, technically not, but we're going to just call it a Vought. A-7 Corsair 2. Link is in the description as always. I've been DerTebbers. It's been your Flight Simulator X-Plane Spotlight of a Vietnam-era military aircraft that might just be worth checking out in your hangar. Until next time, happy flying, everybody.
Good evening, ATO 101 Heavy.
ATO 101 Heavy, good afternoon. Wind 0908, 48, clear to land.
On behalf of the flight crew, thank you for flying with us and have a pleasant stay.